Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. In recent days, I have been thinking a lot about the current situation in the United States concerning the Epstein client or blackmail list, all these files that people want to be released or declassified, published, what have you, and the surprising turn that the US administration and the President Donald Trump have taken in their attitude towards the whole Epstein affair. Now, we've been, of course, following this story for a long time. I will not go over all the details. I think if you listen to my channel, you are probably aware of most of these things, like all these trials and all these things going back over 20 years. And he was convicted. Many witnesses appeared in a court, and they were given a lot of money. Um, so it is not as if this is all just made up. Yeah, there are a lot of facts out already, and we know more than Trump wants us to know, and more than he wants us make believe that is actually known. Anyway, so sometimes when you listen to my talks, you know that sometimes I play Captain Obvious, and I like to spell things out for myself as if I'm thinking out loud. It's like a mental exercise. I like to organize my thoughts, and I want to do this now with this whole Epstein affair, because I noticed it made me feel very uncomfortable, and it's quite disturbing. And I really had to think about it in order to realize that there is more than one way in which this story is disturbing. There are kind of layers, if you will, and I want to talk about it a little bit. It's not a pleasant topic, but here we go. So the first and most obvious layer is, of course, that it involves the mistreatment, the criminal mistreatment of a lot of children, minors, and not just one or two, over 1,000 they say, maybe thousands, who knows. It's a pretty big operation, and there is no way that Mr. Epstein did that all by himself. Absolutely no way. Just the number of people, of victims, absolutely impossible. And yeah, Miss Maxwell, I mean, she is also in jail currently. Why? If he was acting all by himself, right? So we know these things. So the first layer is very obvious. Children were harmed, and that is very disturbing and very bad. But it goes much further, because this was not just a bunch of PDF files that commit crimes because of their sick and twisted tendencies. No, they did that not just for that reason. They had a purpose, and that purpose is to film compromising material. And they did that with a lot of people, apparently, because we know that a lot of people over all these years were on these flights. There are so many pictures of these parties and rich and powerful people, entertainers, celebrities, business oligarchs, Gates, for example, and politicians, intelligence, probably foreign governments, US members of government, of the administration. So everyone who has reach, power, influence, money, they were all there. And maybe not every one of them, but a lot of them probably have these tendencies or couldn't resist or whatever. And yeah, they found themselves on the other side of a camera lens, and they can be blackmailed now. Blackmailed by who? Well, Epstein obviously worked for a foreign intelligence organization, maybe also CIA, but given the family ties of Maxwell and her father, obviously, it is pretty clear who he worked for or who he was also in league with, and that is, of course, Israel. Yes, of course, obviously, we know that. And that means that this country, through this and maybe other unknown honey trap blackmail or organizations or operations, they are able to blackmail not everyone, but a lot of very, very powerful, influential people from many, many countries. And it just means that a lot of the people in power have these tendencies, and they are now absolutely under the control of Israel. Yeah. And if that were to be officially declassified, because we basically know that, we're 99% sure that this is how it went down. But if they really declassified that and said officially that Israel did that, that would mean that, you know, the story, like what is the difference between a conspiracy theory and a fact? 2 weeks or something, yeah. And that would not only be true for some medical substance, or well, some substance that people were forced to, you know, have injected in the last years, and many other things also, or like night flights of irregular travelers that are flown into France, the UK, or Germany, or also the US. This is also a fact. For a long time they said it's a conspiracy theory. No, it's a fact. But now this transformation, this sudden transformation from conspiracy theory to fact would occur to, you know, this topic that the state of Israel controls, how should I phrase that now? I want to be really careful. Controls a major part of the Western world and maybe beyond. So all these conspiracy theories about Israel, they would become fact, officially acknowledged fact, once you release this information. And that is probably why they don't do that, and why the Democrats didn't do it, why Trump doesn't want to do this now, which is so embarrassing for the Trump administration, because a couple of weeks ago still, his administration and Trump himself, FBI and so on, the directors, and they were calling for that. They said, you should release that stuff, release it, I'm going to release it, and now they say, first they said release it, and then they said it doesn't exist, and now they say it's a hoax, or like the Russia Gate hoax or something. Okay. And that is the second layer. Yeah, the fact that a ally in the Middle East basically has compromising material, and they can basically make everyone in the world pretty much do what they want by threatening to publish the material they had Epstein produce for them with kids, basically, on camera. And now the third thing that is very disturbing for the MAGA movement and people who really, you know, lost family or friends, or even went to jail in some cases over their activism for MAGA and Donald Trump. Because what that means now, with Trump's turn in this affair, it just means, and yeah, I have to spell it out, I think now, there is a foreign power that uses our children in order to blackmail rich, famous, powerful, influential people. And Donald Trump knows this, and he says this is fine. And if people have questions about what this foreign power was doing to our children and why, then Donald Trump says, shut up. You don't have the right to speak, because this foreign country and these people that run this foreign country, Israel, of course, they are my friends. They are my personal friends. Kushner, just look into Kushner, right? They are my buddies, and that's why they are allowed to use your children in that way. And if you have a problem with that, you're in trouble, yeah? And that is probably, especially for MAGA people, it's probably the most disturbing thing about that. Maybe. I mean, it's hard. It's yeah. Well, the other layers are very disturbing for themselves, but that, especially when it comes to how many people thought about Trump and the ideals that they held and projected on Trump as some kind of a leader figure, a savior, a hero of the people, a tribune or something. Um, and now he just says, quite literally almost, he says, these people are allowed to use your children for their political gain, and you are not allowed to ask questions. And that is brutal, I think. Well, these are my thoughts on the topic. Let me know how you see the whole affair. Maybe you have a different perspective, or maybe you have some points that you think I forgot to mention. Comment down below. Servus, Kameraden.